Hello everyone, I'm Valida Šaganić and it is my huge pleasure to introduce a speaker today, someone with a truly inspiring story. Maryna Didkovska started her career as a software developer, but it wasn't long before she discovered her true passion in testing and quality assurance. Today, she is the director of quality engineering at EPAM Systems. She has over 10 years of experience working with both software testing and AI. Maryna has led large teams, worked on complex projects, and helped build strong testing systems for big companies. She also has a PhD in software reliability and shares her expertise on global stages, as this one today, for example. She brings deep knowledge, real experience, and a strong belief in using AI to improve software quality. And I can go on without acknowledging something else. Maryna is joining us today for this session from Kiev, Ukraine. Despite the incredibly difficult and ongoing circumstances in her home country, Ukrainian QA professionals like Maryna continue to show extraordinary dedication, resilience, and impact across the global tech community. It is nothing short of remarkable. Today, Maryna will talk about how testing is changing with the help of AI and how more developers are now taking part in the testing process. She will share her experience leading these changes and how to keep quality high while using new tools and saving costs. Please, Maryna, floor is yours. Join us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's really important to have this opportunity to share experience, challenges, drive that we have in new AI reality. I had already wonderful introduction by Valida, and also I would like to emphasize here. Actually, it's always the story about AI. And right now we have this wave on the market. I have started my career exactly in AI domain. And at that moment, we were doing this, plate number recognition system. So if sometimes maybe you got some penalty, because of speed violation, etc., then potentially it is still the software that I was developing more than 10 years ago because SDK wasn't significantly changed since that time. But the challenge at that moment was really great. It's more difficult to test such systems than sometimes to develop and to train them. That is why I made the switch. So right now, being head of testing organization in Europe, when all this AI reality came to us, I was absolutely excited because I understand the challenge, I understand the amount of potential problems to be solved, but it's a great opportunity to transform the reality. It's a great opportunity to build something good and change the world to better. That is why my expectation from the market was one, but what is our reality? So let's together with you make this deep dive. What's going on? What are we asked? What are the current situation on the market? And first of all, I would say, despite the fact that new technology is brilliant and awesome and rather interesting from my point of view, on a regular basis, the first items that we hear that software domain, I'm even not talking only about testing right now, but almost all the specialties would be replaced by AI. Let's take historical background. I assume that last 20 years we are promised on a regular basis that testing would be either replaced or significantly transformed by something. So let's make this walk through. At the beginning of 20s, 10 years, we were promised that automation will replace all the manual testers. What was the reality? Exploratory testing was and still is in the focus. So are we talking about replacement? Actually, no. The next item. Again, in the same tense, agile. We would have absolutely cross-functional teams, and we would talk with you today about these cross-functional teams. So in agile, we would be all cross-functional. We don't need any dedicated testers. Actually, it means that we also don't need dedicated developers, etc., etc. We have tried, and you know the results on the market. There is still, I would say, small amount of actually cross-functional teams, and still quality in testing is in place. Testers became quality coaches for these teams. Late 2010s, shift left, DevOps paradigm. So everything would be absorbed into pipelines. The intention was really good, but still, on the market, we have shift right, human in the loop approach. So the balance was organized between technical switch to the left or business focus to the right, observability focus to the right. The next wave on the market, maybe one of such tricky topics for me personally, codeless automation, because from one point of view, I like codeless automation. From other point of view, taking into account my developer's background, I'm like, let's take a look. What would be the benefit, but what would be the cost to work with maintenance of such items? As for now, the market niche for codeless automation is 10%. Good, I would say. That's already a huge number of projects with codeless automation, but it's not 50, it's not 80, yeah? And the idea was that anybody, everyone from your team, product owner, developer, business analyst, technical writer, or manual tester can create test cases. What do we have right now? Yep, we can start, but still we need logic, test design, debugging skills, and I have already mentioned about maintenance of such test cases. Replacement? Still no. Adoption? Definitely yes. The next push was crowd testing. And the idea, I still find this idea brilliant, because if we do more, I would say, user-based testing, crowd testing, better testing approaches, then we really produce something necessary for our end users and make our clients happy. Yeah, but the intention was that these programs would replace internal QA. Now, as we know, only partly. Still, it should be good balance between previous items, I would say internal case, shaped process, and crowd part, because otherwise could be chaotic and not so major releases. Right now, I would say that we are in position. AI is not something that appeared on the market today or yesterday. All these discussions, they started even in 2018 with ChatGPT. Just right now, the quality of large language models is significantly better, and it would be even better. That is why we calibrate ourselves. But you see, AI, we are told right now that AI would generate all the test cases and all the code for us. But we have seen already the pattern, common pattern that something would replace testers, but our reality is quite different. We are changing the landscape, but testers' mindset is killer. Is I would say the most important thing that we have right now. And yeah, we can make jokes, but actually it's not a joke at all. That if we would think about most adaptive organisms in our reality right now, yeah, bacteria, viruses, and testers, because our activities, they are changing. Mindset, I would say, stays with us. Yes, new reality would be rather difficult for us. Interesting, challenging. Because previously, we all were in one paradigm. Something like we have our preconditions, we have our steps to reproduce, and expected result. But what is expected result right now? What is good result? What is good enough result? What is correct and complete? And these are the questions that we would need to answer today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. What I would like to highlight is that actually it would be sometimes even more testing potentially. But let's take a look. Let me share with you some transformation program. As Valida has already mentioned, I'm working for EPAM. We are quite big. We are more than 60, I assume that maybe even 70,000 of people right now. And for example, if you talk about testers, I'm responsible for more than 3,000 of testers in the European region. So, several time ago, our customer asked us to make some huge transformation. Exactly. And the idea was we would like to work without testers. Let's make this transformation. It was not because of AI. The main challenge was some silos between QAs and developers, improper communication, bottlenecks, this ping pong of tasks between devs and QAs, and so on and so on. So the idea was exactly to build absolutely proper cross-functional team where everybody can create code, can manage pipeline, and can definitely take responsibility on quality items, create unit tests, API tests, UI tests, exploratory testing, be in charge of, and so on and so on. We were doing this transformation on customer side. That is why, yeah, we just cannot solve this problem with hiring of proper people. So we were transforming their mindset. And I would say the focus at that moment was to keep developers' knowledge on that project and somehow to reskill them into QA mindset also. Definitely. A lot of best and hard practices were involved. We created the role of engineer that was combining everybody. Yeah, we fostered this knowledge sharing session. What does it mean to think like QA? We had mentorship programs for developers from QA and consultants from QA side. A lot of trainings, how to create test cases, what are the testing principle. Yeah, we had set of target initiatives. What does it mean to create good bug report? What does it mean to create good test case? What is about coverage from business point of view, from technical point of view? Huge amount of time it took. And total transformation of this company took over 3 years. What I would like to say, we understand that if we would be talking about technical transition from one technical stack to other technical stack, it would take less time. If we talk about some programming language, let's say from Java to .NET or from Java to Python. Also, that's manageable. Mindset transformation is really difficult. And without this mindset transformation, you cannot get really good results. Have we made some mistakes during this transition? I would say the initial mistake was just to focus mostly on developers. From the very beginning, it should be done a little bit in the other way. Then we made our lessons learned. So transformation is successful. It works. They have wonderful, by the way, they have absolutely great quality governance in the system. They have shift left, they have shift right. So everything is great, but 3 years to transform huge amount of people, but still 3 years. And when we were doing lessons learned, we understood that somewhere potentially we can do it more efficient. Let's take a look into software testing roles. Yeah, what do we have on our plate right now? And as you remember, I have already highlighted that potentially initial focus that we discussed with customer was not ideal. We have our functional testers, software testing engineers. We have quality engineers, blended skill between automation and manual testing. They are maybe not creating frameworks, but they are working with this codeless automation. They are working with already created or existing frameworks and create both manual tests and automated tests. We have test automation engineer, great framework, great automation test cases. But come on, by design, we have, and it's not a new role. It was already on the market, but it seems to me that maybe it was heavily under-recognized. We have software engineers in test, programming, testing, and DevOps by design. So if we made better focus on automation testers, on software engineers in tests during that transformation, as we have done for other our clients, such transformation would take less time. What is software engineering test and why we started to talk about AI and now I switched to our discussion to software engineering test? Because first of all, it's definitely full stack engineer. And it's true engineer, that can both test our code and create code, make some fixes, and also has corresponding knowledge on pipelines, cloud technologies, because come on, guys, we live in normal new reality. We should be cloud native. That's already our, I would say, the day of today. It's not some future as AI part. I even consider that AI is already our day of today. So, interesting. We have already great guys, but are we focused on them enough or not? Let's return back and make a dive into AI revolution that we have in our software development. First of all, we started with chats. I assume that vast majority of you have some chats, ChatGPT, for example, or you use Gemini, or something like that in this DeepSeek. So you interact with chat and LLM on the read in conversational mode. I assume that already that's our baseline. The next item, we started to use copilots. Some tool already, integrated into some tools tests, like Microsoft Copilot, for example, workflow, and system helps you already to solve some tasks, and generate relevant content. So like Amazon Q, for example, or GitHub Copilot that I was mentioning before. Good? Not good enough. So some help definitely is in place. Are we talking on this stage about any replacement? No, it's more about like advisory system. And finally, on the market, we have start of AI agencies, agentic approach. Still, I would say, from my historical background, from academical background, we have right now human with agents. We don't have agents with human where we have really good and autonomic agents and human in the loop. No, right now we are AI enabled and we interact with agents. So these systems are more autonomic. They can be connected to some Jira, GitHub, Confluence, grab some task, produce some results, let's call it so. It could be a test, it could be user story, it could be code review analysis. So then we look through the results, approve or make some changes, and then these results would be deployed. We already have our chat LLM, all the items with connections, and there are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of items on the market that can help. So we have also, for example, developed our own platform that helps us to build these agents. But what is the question here? Again, quality. Quality is really important because you need to understand, okay, you have test cases right now from your agent, but you should be skilled enough to understand, are they good? Are they good enough? Maybe they are redundant. Maybe they just too generic for manual test cases. Maybe they are producing good coverage, or maybe not. That is why it's really about knowledge, and how to test them properly. The same situation with dev activities. Code produced by agent, unit tests, for example, or prod code for some feature. Good enough. What does it mean to have really good unit test? You see, questions about quality, they are not reducing. The amount is growing here because it's really important to understand. Otherwise, we would produce just something in order to have something. So a lot of questions. And that is why I was talking about software engineers in test, because by design, they can interact with agents from at least 3 areas: dev, DevOps, QA. Let's take a look into our agentic scope. You see, I have agenda here: virtual developer, virtual BA, virtual team lead, virtual support, and definitely our QA, our tester, and black activities, because for black activities, at least for now, we don't have strong AI enablement. For other type of activities, we can get some boost, let me call it so, So let's take our virtual K. We can make test case design. So based on, for example, user story, we can produce test cases. We can produce automated test cases, make some initial test result analysis, test coverage analysis, items where we have this text-to-text transformation. But for all these activities, we need to understand what is equality today, because in this new reality, our expected result is nothing set in stone. So previously, it was easy to rely on written expected result. I assume that on a regular basis, you have the situation. Try to play with your LLM. Ask the same question, for example, 5 times in a row, and you would have different answers. They would be different, their completeness would be different. That is why, from testing point of view, we need to build new methodology. How to check it properly. Yeah, there are already, so we can talk about ground truth, we can talk about metrics, but still it is absolutely new, and we shape this reality together with you right now. So let me maybe just touch the base for these AI agentic solutions and our key dimensions of testing. We still need to continue on functionality testing, yes? And think our agents, they perform the intended task correctly. And what does it mean correctly in this result? Are they robust? I see. It's a revolution on the market. We would have AI-infused applications. Previously, we had already such revolutions. Desktop, web, mobile. Right now, we have AI-infused application where we have this layer with natural language. But if something is really great today, yeah, context window is switching, would it be okay in 2 months? That's a question. Ethical and safety testing. Potentially, our system would make recommendation how to create nuclear bomb. And I'm not joking. That's possible to grab pieces of this information from current system, how they were trained. Performance evaluation. What does it mean to have good performance of agent and bad performance of agent? So you see, our dimensions, they are growing, they are again reshaping. Are we replacing testers right now with somebody? We have to adapt because landscape is changing and previous criteria of good, of that were valid for testing, they significantly changed. We can continue because methods and tools also they would be involved. We would need to talk more about simulation environments. We would need to build corresponding benchmarking and metrics. And again, for example, we have Stack Overflow, we have GitHub. We can produce code and build benchmarks. What do you think? Are we in a good shape on the market with corresponding benchmarks for testing? So how to measure that automated tests produced by agents are really good and they are corresponding to benchmark? That's a question. We would have to build ground truth validation. Yeah. So what is correctness? What is completeness? What is essential for us? How to check all these items, not in a manual way, but automated, because you can only imagine that the amount of agents would be exploding. And right now we have MCP, we have agent-to-agent protocol. So we already are in reality where we have agents orchestrator. So we cannot stay in the reality of manual testing of all these items. We would need to have automated testing for these items. Proper human in the loop. And here exactly the question. Who would it be? Developer that would analyze the result of testing agent. Would it be tester? would it be software engineer in test? So by design, still we would keep, I assume that till the wave 5, and we are in the wave 2 right now, about in this agentic future, keep human in the loop and check the result. And we need to have this major knowledge. So one more question would be for us, how to develop these major specialists, because agents can deal with junior work, but how without junior we would have these major and senior guys that are working with AI agents? Great challenge, and continuous monitoring of all these results. So landscape is wow, I would say. QA mindset still in place. Would it be possible to make everything only with developers? The answer is it would take huge amount of time. That is why I would say that testing still would be the great focus, and we have software engineers in test. And actually, it sounds right now like engineers of the future, they can be AI enabled and they can expand their by design born skills into this agentic reality, because actually right now we have made this analysis from all the skill set groups, let me say it so. Software engineers in test, they are actually ready for AI transformation. Other skill groups, I'm talking about skill groups in testing, in DevOps, in development, they should make this transformation, including mindset transformation. Mindset transformation takes time. With sets, we are already past this part, so they just need to be closer to AI agentic items. So actually, as software domain, we need to reinvent software engineers in test right now, and we would be ready. Let's see, are we good with this idea or not? It definitely would take time. But in this AI world, yeah, what I would like to emphasize, code would be generated. Test cases definitely would be generated. We would have huge amount of agents, but expertise in testing, yeah, corresponding verification and validation would be absolutely crucial for success, because without it, we cannot talk about quality delivery. And if you are not in the field of quality delivery, you're out of the market. That's all. So I'm open for your question. Yeah. So you see, again, reality is transforming our favorite and beloved testing domain, but in AI reality, the challenges for testing, they would be emerging on a daily basis. And it makes me absolutely happy, because it's interesting to solve such items. Valida, do we have questions in chat?
Oh, I was mute. I apologize. Yes, there are some chats. First of all, thank you so much for your presentation. As always, you bring some new ideas. You shared your knowledge. Thank you so much for that. There are questions. First question is, what testing activities could be AA enabled as the first step?
By the way, one more item to say. AI enablement would be a challenge, because definitely we would work with resistance. So if you would like to onboard your team members, yeah, don't grab their main activities from their plate. Try to show benefits of all these items. And I would maybe recommend, first of all, to start with review, test cases review, for example. Then I would say it would be really great to interact with business analyst, agent, and when we are getting some new user story, work with agents that help us to find other places of functionality that are similar or close to the new user story, or there are contradictions, so we can build definitely better end-to-end testing process. Then also my favorite item, definitely unit tests. And if we are talking about start, I would also recommend make this, if you have, for example, let's imagine plain text test cases. So you transform some legacy project into BDD or some step-oriented, step-based framework. This transformation from plain text to the vocabulary-based testing approach could be really greatly AI enabled. And as a result, your team members can see actual benefits. And onboarding agent. Onboarding agent, I assume that right now it could be a must for absolutely every project. Absolutely every project. Because otherwise we are wasting a huge amount of time, for onboarding. And if you have onboarding agent, you can ask specific questions that resonates you. You get information in time, and you have this buy-in from your team members. That's a start.
Okay, and we have time for one more question. What other skills do we as testers need in the AI wave? Interesting.
Yeah, that's really great question. I assume that maybe every time when I talk about AI enablement, I got something like that, or I'm directly asked, Maryna, should we be converted to data analysts or not? So the answer would be the following. Our new type of application, I'm talking about AI-infused application, they have different components. If it would be necessary for you to test LLM, I'm not talking about existing commercials LLM, but you can grab some LLM, you can fine-tune this LLM and deploy it in-house, then yes, for this moment you would need to have additional understanding from data science domain. Starting the moment when we use these components in terms of AI-infused application, we can still be in terms of our traditional approaches, I mean, software engineering test, automation and test is functional, but still it would be necessary for all of us to understand how the system under hood works. And I'm not talking about business application right now. I'm talking about how LLM works. So tokenization, why and how, embeddings, self-attention mechanism, etc., etc. Because without understanding of these items, you wouldn't be capable to build good prompt. You would interact with system only as with a black box. And as a result, your testing strategy would never be efficient. That is why it's not a rocket science at all. Absolutely. That's manageable. But that's important thing that's definitely would be on our plate to do.
Okay, thank you, Maryna.
Thanks to you.
No further questions. Do you have some final words that you want to share with us?
Yes. First of all, guys, don't be afraid. Try. AI is not your enemy. It's your friend. And actually, if you would be AI enabled, you can make your routine activities more efficient. So delegate routine, not creativity, and have time for your coffee.
Yeah, good. Okay. So, dear Maryna, Once again, thank you so much for being a speaker at this year's A4Q Testing Summit. It was our pleasure. We truly appreciate your insight and expertise. To our audience, thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to vote for Maryna's sessions on A4Q website and stay tuned. Another exciting session is coming up right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.